Yeah, no, that's very helpful. I am I'm wondering if the Canadian system is ready for a potential influx of citizens they did not plan on taking back, given one of the ideas the Trump administration is floating, and I pay attention to it because I have a friend whose father, his family came here in the 70s for medical treatment, and he's a green card permanent resident, never got citizenship, all this type of thing. She was born here. She is a citizen, but might not be for much longer because we're getting rid of birthright citizenship. Is Canada prepared for, like, my friend Brady's a bridal seamstress? That's useful. Is Canada prepared? Like, what if they get rid of birthright citizenship and people like her are no longer citizens? Is Canada at all prepared for like 500,000 of new neighbors that they had no clue they were ever going to have? Like, I mean, what's that look like? What's the conversation happening up there? I mean, it's insane.
Cameron, that's a great question, a super astute question to ask. I've written some articles on that. I think I may not have mentioned yet, but I write for Forbes, and I've written some articles on that theme. Here's the challenge. For Canada to have 500,000 people come across the border because they're escaping the United States would be a disaster. The whole country would probably implode because on average, for example, refugees on average per year, Canada accepts about 50,000. That's the maximum national average. And the total projected number of people who Canada is going to be allowing to come to Canada this year is around 350,000. So a number like 500,000 would be just an impossible number for Canada to deal with. Yeah. But critics of my views on this subject have pointed out to me that it's not very likely that we're going to have a huge flood of people coming. They argue that, most people would try and ride it out in the United States or possibly go home to wherever they came from. But there's not every Tom, Dick, and Harry in the United States is going to say, "Oh, I'm just going to go to Canada across the border."
No. I mean, that's not. I mean, that's definitely not. I think the most majority opinion. I wonder how many kids of Canadian parents that without birthright citizenship won't be citizens anymore, according to the Trump administration. And the reality with what they're building with ICE, they will collect them and dump them on your doorstep.
That's true. And I'm with you on this, Cameron. I'm with you on this. My thought is that we really in Canada need to prepare for an influx of a lot of people from the United States.
Like my friend Brady might be rounded up and brought to you. Like I said, she's a bridal seamstress. Send her to the nearest sewing shop. But
the birthright thing is red herring. I don't think that now people are behaving like crazy down there. Citizens are being arrested. So, in that context, it's conceivable a lot of people could be kicked out. But generally, I don't think the Supreme Court is about ready to, overrule the 14th Amendment. And
no, I said the same thing on the Cameron Journal News Hour because they had ruled on another part of the case and had not ruled on birthright citizenship. Right. And I said, and I'm kind of like, I would love to read the argument from John Roberts as to how the 14th Amendment just suddenly today on the 9th of July, 2025 has ceased to matter. It's been there since 1860 something. It was it was a Reconstruction Amendment. It's been there, but all of a sudden today in 2025, no more, sort of thing.
That's a good point. Actually, I talked to someone for my article that I wrote on this subject not long ago. And he's a prosecutor, a former prosecutor, heavy-duty prosecutor, and I would say probably a Republican in terms of his background. And he was saying, well, it's not, his view was the same as ours, that the 14th Amendment is not likely going to be overruled. But he thought maybe the Supreme Court wanted to throw a sop over to Trump by ruling on this national injunction matter, the procedural matter that they have ruled on, where they have national injunctions on birthright cases. Because there was an injunction in place. One of the federal courts said, hold it, this is a constitutional question. A lot of kids are going to be affected by this. We can't implement this right off the bat. They introduced a national injunction. And that procedural matter, as you pointed out, went up to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court knocked that one down, saying, oh, no, you can't have a national injunction. You're going to have to approach this differently. And so this guy who I interviewed said, I said, just possibly, judicial politics-wise, they're trying to figure out a way of dealing with that issue without upsetting Trump too much. So he figured, okay, they'll throw him a sop. You win on the injunction part, but when the real matter comes up before you, you're dead. And that's the way I'm reading it right now.
No, I agree with you. I see it very much the same way. I especially this late in the term, I don't think SCOTUS wanted to take on a big marquee constitution case. I mean that's reaching Marbury versus Madison, Dred Scott, Brown versus Board of Education level. That's the level of case that this would be. And they're kind of like, it's the summer. I have plans in the south of France. We have no time to decide about the 14th Amendment right now. Well, I have a flight.
Well, I hope that's the way it's going to be. In terms of how to deal with that part.
Well, and it's great for Canada because you won't be unnecessarily necessarily importing my friend Brady, who suddenly will be a citizen because their
That's true.
father is not.
But
So
even still, I believe personally that there will be a significant uptick of people coming from America as these, like the billions of dollars that Trump has gotten through this big beautiful budget of his
right,
available for enforcement. That we haven't seen that on the streets yet, and
no,
he's brought in the military to enforce immigration rules, and he's created camps. He's got camps ready, like that alligator alley camp is already, where people
yeah.
like, oh my goodness.